you drift above the young planet, feeling the gentle rhythm of life below. Tiny cells, clusters of molecules, and nascent ecosystems pulse slowly, meditatively, in quiet harmony. Each one is a reflection of the forces that shaped the cosmos: gravity, light, energy, and matter. You sense that life is not separate from the universe. It is a continuation of the same patient, deliberate dance, even as molecules interact, as cells divide, and as ecosystems stabilize. You notice the cosmic fingerprints embedded in every structure: carbon, nitrogen, oxygen. These elements were born in the hearts of stars. You drift alongside this realization, sensing the quiet awe in understanding that your body and all life carries stardust within it. The sky above the planet glimmers faintly, as distant stars send photons across the void. You imagine the journey of each particle, traveling millions of years before reaching this young world. Energy from these distant suns fuels reactions, warms shallow pools, and nudges molecules into alignment. You sense the meditative patience inherent in this cosmic communication, the quiet link between stars and life. Comets and asteroids continue their gentle deliveries, carrying water, organic compounds, and minerals. Each impact, though seemingly small, contributes to the larger orchestration of life. You float with awareness, sensing the patient accumulation of ingredients over eons, and the subtle guidance of chance and necessity. Life emerges not abruptly, but gradually, as part of a cosmic meditation. Even the planet itself participates. Its rotation, its magnetic field, its cycles of light and shadow create conditions for life to persist and evolve. You drift alongside these rhythms, sensing their patient influence, the quiet shaping of environments, and the meditative alignment between planetary processes and living systems. Imagine drifting among early life forms, feeling their slow growth, their patient adaptation, and their gentle responsiveness to survival. Even in simplicity, life demonstrates the quiet resilience of connection. Each organism, each molecule, echoes the patterns of the universe, a reflection of the rhythm that guided stars, dust, and planets long before life emerged. You notice the subtle exchange of energy between life and the environment. Sunlight warms cells, heat moves through water, and chemical gradients guide interactions. Life is not isolated, it is a participant in the gentle flow of energy that sustains the planet. You sense this quiet interconnection, the meditation in balance, flow, and responsiveness. Even as ecosystems grow more complex, the cosmic connection remains. Molecules that formed in stellar furnaces continue to participate in the cycles of life, cycling through metabolism, replication, and decay. You drift among these cycles, sensing the timeless patience of matter, the meditative rhythm that links life to the broader universe. Imagine oceans teeming with microscopic life, all moving in quiet, purposeful patterns. Energy flows, chemical reactions proceed, and interactions repeat over vast timescales. You sense the patient, gentle continuity in these processes, a reflection of the slow cosmic rhythms that guided their formation. You notice that evolution, though gradual, follows the meditative patterns established from the beginning. Mutations, variations, and adaptations occur slowly, like subtle nudges from the universe. Life learns, adjusts, and persists in harmony with environmental and cosmic forces. You sense the patient persistence embedded in these processes, the quiet shaping of complexity over time. Even the smallest organisms carry echoes of the cosmos. Carbon chains formed in ancient stars, water delivered by comets, energy from distant suns, they all converge in these tiny meditative systems. You drift alongside them, sensing the quiet resonance between life and the universe, the patient alignment of forces that makes existence possible. You float above a forest, a river, or an ocean teeming with life, sensing the vast networks of energy, matter, and information. Each living thing is connected, each cycle interwoven with others, reflecting patterns that stretch from the molecular to the planetary to the stellar. Life is a meditation, a gentle echo of cosmic harmony. Even human life, though brief in comparison, carries this cosmic memory. Your body contains atoms that journeyed across space, molecules shaped by the patient rhythm of chemical evolution, cells that echo ancient patterns. You sense the meditative continuity in yourself, a gentle connection to stars, planets, and the slow unfolding of the universe. Imagine drifting back in time, through the formation of planets, the emergence of life, and the slow evolution of complexity. Each moment, though imperceptible, contributes to the larger story. You sense the quiet patience of existence, the meditative accumulation of events, and the rhythm that links all life to the cosmic stage. Energy continues to flow, guiding interactions gently. Light illuminates, heat sustains, and chemical gradients nurture complexity. You drift among these flows, sensing the quiet orchestration, the meditative rhythm that sustains life across scales. The universe is not hurried. It unfolds with patience, persistence, and deliberate care. Even the void carries meaning. Space is not empty. It is a medium through which energy, matter, and information travel. You sense the quiet presence of potential in the darkness, the meditative patience inherent in the cosmos that allows life to emerge in its own time. You notice that cycles continue across scales. Day and night, seasons, tides, and planetary rotations create gentle rhythms that guide life. You float with these cycles, sensing their meditative influence on living systems. The quiet alignment of time, energy, and matter. Life follows the gentle beat of the universe itself. Interactions between species, ecosystems, and environments form a quiet symphony. Energy is exchanged, matter cycles, and subtle adjustments maintain balance. You drift among these interactions, sensing the meditative harmony of life, guided by principles that echo the formation of planets, the dance of dust, and the patient orchestration of cosmic events. Even human consciousness is part of this cosmic rhythm. Thoughts, emotions, and awareness arise slowly, subtly, in alignment with underlying patterns of matter, energy, and time. You sense the quiet meditation in perception, the gentle connection between mind, body, and universe, the rhythm that links awareness to the slow unfolding of existence. You drift further, sensing the quiet influence of distant stars. Their light continues to nourish planets, their past explosions seeded elements, and their presence guides cosmic dynamics. Life on this planet, though unique, is connected to forces far beyond its immediate environment. You sense the meditative resonance of these connections, a quiet harmony that stretches across space and time, even in the smallest details: the folding of a protein, the flow of a river, the migration of an animal life reflects the patient rhythm of the universe. You float among these details, sensing the gentle meditation inherent in each process, each interaction, each pulse of existence. You imagine the universe as a patient teacher, guiding life through subtle cues, gentle nudges, and meditative rhythms. Every star, dust, grain, molecule, and cell participates in a quiet choreography, a slow dance that links existence across scales. Life is the echo of this cosmic meditation. Even as you drift, the same forces that shaped stars, planets, and molecules now shape cells, organisms, and ecosystems. You sense the quiet alignment of matter, energy, and life, a meditative harmony that stretches across billions of years and countless miles. Imagine the vastness of space, the innumerable worlds, and the endless flow of energy and matter. You drift through this expanse, sensing the quiet resonance of life with the cosmos, the patient meditation that allows existence to unfold, persist, and flourish. You float back to the planet, sensing life's gentle rhythms in oceans, forests, skies, and beneath the surface. Every pulse of energy, every chemical reaction, every cellular division is connected to the patient, deliberate forces that shaped the universe. Life is both fragile and enduring, quiet yet persistent, meditative yet full of potential. You float above a young, quiet world, sensing the subtle pulse of something new. Tiny protocells drift in shallow waters, organized clusters of molecules ready to engage in the most patient of dances. They do not rush, yet their interactions are purposeful. You feel their rhythm, a slow, meditative pulse that echoes the quiet energy of the planet itself. Life begins in whispers, in small chemical interactions repeated over long spans. Molecules bind, break, and reassemble, guided by subtle energy flows. You drift alongside them, sensing the meditative patience in every movement. Even the smallest interactions contribute to the orchestration of early life, a slow choreography that sets the foundation for complexity. You notice the gentle division of cells, the slow replication of structures that carry information. Each event is deliberate, a quiet progression rather than sudden burst. You float with awareness, sensing the continuity of life's rhythm, a meditation in replication, persistence, and careful balance. Imagine a single protocell, floating in the gentle warmth of sunlight, nourished by surrounding molecules. It splits, creating a subtle rhythm of growth and reproduction. You sense the continuity in this repetition, the quiet reinforcement of patterns that will echo through eons. Even in its smallness, life resonates with a deep, meditative energy. Energy flows through these early systems. Chemical gradients, light, and heat guide movement, reactions, and replication. You drift among them, sensing the subtle orchestration of forces, each contributing to the slow dance of emergence. Life is not frantic. It is deliberate, absorbing and transforming energy without haste. Cells interact with their environment gently. Nutrients diffuse slowly, chemical signals move delicately, and energy passes quietly from molecule to molecule. You sense the patient responsiveness in these systems, the meditative dialogue between life and its surroundings. Each interaction strengthens stability, resilience, and continuity. Imagine clusters of cells forming primitive communities. Some adhere to surfaces, others float freely. You drift among them, sensing their gentle cooperation and competition. Even in early life, there is a balance, a quiet rhythm of give and take that nurtures survival and growth without urgency. Water currents, temperature fluctuations, and mineral surfaces guide these early systems. You float alongside them, feeling the meditative influence of environment. Life is patient, responding gently to subtle cues. And in this careful interaction, a rhythm emerges that connects biology with the larger world. Even the smallest disturbances in incoming particle, a slight temperature shift, or a burst of light affect life gently. You sense the responsiveness in protocells, the quiet adjustments that maintain harmony. Life's rhythm is not rigid but adaptable, a soft meditation on persistence and balance in the face of gentle change. You notice patterns forming in cellular interactions. Division occurs in cycles, movement follows gradients, and energy flows consistently. You drift among these patterns, sensing the emerging rhythm that unites countless tiny processes. Life begins to resonate with a slow, deliberate tempo, echoing the broader motions of the planet. Genetic information, stored in simple sequences, guides reactions and responses. Even at this early stage, information flows like a quiet melody, influencing behavior, replication, and survival. You sense the meditative persistence of these sequences, their subtle power to guide, shape, and preserve life. Energy continues to move quietly through ecosystems. Sunlight, heat, chemical potential, and molecular interactions sustain the rhythm of life. You float among these flows, sensing the patient choreography that sustains growth, replication, and interaction. Life unfolds in a slow, deliberate meditation of energy and matter. Imagine cells interacting with one another in tiny communities, exchanging molecules, signaling subtly, and coordinating movement. You drift alongside these interactions, sensing the gentle patience that allows complexity to emerge. Even early life is a meditation in rhythm, responsiveness, and careful timing. You notice the gradual development of more complex structures. Membranes form, compartments emerge, and internal organization increases. You sense the patient accumulation of order, the quiet construction of systems capable of sustaining themselves. Life is deliberate, slow, and meditative, building resilience through repetition and subtle interaction. Imagine a shallow pool warmed by sunlight. Cells drift, divide, and interact, their motions slow and rhythmic. Nutrients circulate gently, energy flows quietly, and patterns of behavior emerge. You float among these tiny ecosystems, sensing the meditative persistence in every interaction. Even the smallest cell carries potential. You sense how each repetition of division, each minor chemical adjustment, and each interaction contributes to the continuity of life. Life is patient, building complexity step by step, molecule by molecule, in a quiet rhythm that unfolds over millennia. Environmental forces continue to guide life gently. Temperature cycles, chemical gradients, and energy inputs create a patient, persistent flow. You drift alongside life's earliest systems, sensing their responsiveness, adaptability, and meditative timing. The rhythm of life harmonizes with the planet's own subtle pulse. Interactions between cells also evolve gradually. Some cells cluster, forming primitive communities. Others compete quietly for resources. You sense the meditative balance of cooperation and competition, the quiet shaping of early ecosystems. Even in their simplicity, these dynamics reflect the persistent rhythm of life, patient and deliberate. You notice the emergence of cycles, day and night, warm and cool, light and shadow. Life responds gently to these rhythms, adjusting metabolism, movement, and behavior. You drift among these patterns, sensing the meditative alignment between life and its environment, a quiet synchronization that ensures resilience and continuity. The rhythm of life extends beyond individual cells. Proto-ecosystems interact, molecules flow, energy circulates, and structures stabilize. You float above these interactions, sensing the subtle meditation in every connection. Life is a network of patience, responsiveness, and harmony, growing without haste. Guided by gentle forces, even random fluctuations have purpose. Minor variations in replication, chemical composition, or energy distribution contribute to diversity, resilience, and adaptability. You sense the quiet meditation in these small deviations, the subtle shaping of life's rhythm through gentle change. Imagine the first simple food webs forming, molecules consumed, energy transferred, and chemical byproducts produced. You drift among these interactions, sensing the patient orchestration that allows life to flourish slowly, quietly, and meditatedly. Complexity emerges, not abruptly, but through deliberate accumulation over vast timescales. Even as early life stabilizes, change continues subtly. New molecules arrive, environmental conditions shift, and interactions adapt. You drift alongside life's systems, sensing the meditation in their resilience, flexibility, and patient rhythm. Each moment is deliberate, each movement a quiet contribution to the unfolding story of life. Life's rhythm, though slow, resonates through the environment. Chemical cycles, energy flows, and molecular interactions create patterns that echo across space and time. You float with awareness, sensing the meditation inherent in persistence, repetition, and balance. The quiet rhythm of life is both delicate and enduring. You drift above a young planet, feeling the slow hum of formation beneath your awareness. Dust and gas, gathered over millions of years, now settle into calm structures. Among them, you sense the first whispers of organic molecules, tiny arrangements of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen carrying the potential for life. They float patiently, waiting for the right conditions to awaken possibility. These molecules are subtle in their presence, yet powerful in potential. Amino acids, the building blocks of proteins, cling to grains of dust, floating through space in slow, deliberate drift. You imagine reaching out to these tiny structures, sensing their quiet readiness, their patient arrangement, each one a small promise of something yet to come. Water, too, begins to gather. On the young planet, ice condenses in shaded regions, while vapor rises from heated surfaces. You drift through clouds of vapor, sensing the gentle cycle of condensation and evaporation, the quiet rhythm that will sustain future oceans. Water is a patient teacher, shaping chemistry, distributing heat, and creating environments where complexity may eventually thrive. You float closer to the surface, where gentle reactions take place. Simple molecules combine into more complex structures, forming chains and rings that drift in shallow pools, on dust grains, or in the atmospheres above. Each interaction is slow, deliberate, and balanced, a patient meditation in chemistry that lays the groundwork for life. Cosmic dust, previously mere carriers of matter, now plays a critical role. Molecules adhere to these grains, interact. You drift among these tiny laboratories, sensing the gentle creativity embedded in their quiet work. Each grain is a patient participant in the unfolding story of life. Sunlight streams across the young world, photons triggering subtle reactions. Energy flows, breaking bonds, forming new compounds, and guiding chemistry in quiet, deliberate ways. You sense the interplay between light and matter, a patient meditation of energy shaping potential without hurry, without force. Imagine the first organic molecules arriving from space, carried by comets, asteroids, or interstellar dust. Each brings new complexity, subtle differences in composition, and gentle potential. You float alongside these interlopers, sensing the silent dialogue between incoming material and the planet's own chemistry, a patient negotiation that prepares the stage for emergence. Even the smallest molecules have roles in shaping environments. Carbon compounds may form protective layers, while nitrogen stabilizes reactions. Hydrogen and oxygen interact in water, facilitating chemical pathways that stretch across vast timescales. You sense the quiet orchestration, the meditation in arrangement, patience, and balance. Now imagine shallow pools of water on the young planet, warmed gently by sunlight, shaded by irregular terrain. Molecules concentrate here, moving slowly, colliding occasionally, and forming more complex structures. You drift among these environments, sensing the delicate balance of temperature, concentration, and energy that nurtures potential without haste. Radiation continues its quiet influence. Ultraviolet photons can break bonds or create radicals, while cosmic rays may trigger reactions deep in ice-covered regions. You sense the careful interplay between destructive and creative energy, the subtle push and pull that guides chemistry without force, shaping complexity through patient persistence. Organic molecules begin forming chains, branching structures, and ring-like formations. Each new combination is delicate but full of potential. You float alongside them, sensing the quiet persistence of chemical evolution, the gentle emergence of complexity from simplicity, a meditative dance of matter and energy that lays the foundation for life. Even minerals on the young planet participate. Clays, silicates, and metals provide surfaces where molecules can adhere, concentrate, and interact. You drift among these structures, sensing the patient facilitation of chemical reactions, the quiet workshops that guide molecules toward greater complexity. Each surface is a gentle teacher, shaping possibilities without urgency. You notice the first subtle cycles of evaporation and condensation. Water collects, molecules concentrate, and chemical interactions repeat in slow, rhythmic patterns. You sense the quiet meditation in repetition, the the patient reinforcement of structures that may eventually lead to self-organization. Every cycle, no matter how small, contributes to the slow preparation of life. Comets and asteroids continue their gentle deliveries, seeding new regions with water and organic compounds. You drift alongside these celestial couriers, sensing their quiet persistence and the meditative patience inherent in their trajectories. Each impact, though subtle, introduces new ingredients for potential life, reinforcing the ongoing story of creation. You float further, sensing the combination of energy, matter, and forces that create localized pockets of potential. Temperature gradients, concentration differences, and radiation patterns interact in subtle ways, guiding molecules toward complexity. You sense the quiet orchestration, a meditation on patience, interaction, and possibility. Imagine the first protocells forming in secluded pools, or among ice-coated dust grains, or in mineral cavities. They are fragile, delicate. You drift alongside them, sensing the patient nurturing that allows some structures to persist, to grow, and to interact with theirs. Each one is a meditation in emergence, a quiet preparation for life's first breath. Even as complexity arises, the environment continues its quiet work. Heat flows, light illuminates, and energy nudges molecules into new arrangements. You float with awareness, sensing the subtle balance of forces, the patient rhythm of chemical evolution, and the quiet accumulation of potential over millions of years. Water, organic compounds, minerals, and energy now converge in a gentle harmony. You drift among these elements, sensing the quiet meditation of matter preparing for life. Each component contributes to a patient orchestration, a slow rhythm that patiently waits for the emergence of self-sustaining systems. You imagine the planet as a slow, breathing entity, absorbing impacts, guiding molecules, and nurturing chemical pathways. It is not rushed, yet it is purposeful. You sense the meditation in this quiet preparation, the patient patience of a world arranging itself for the eventual spark of life. Even the smallest particles, the tiniest molecules, and the most delicate surfaces participate. You float among them, sensing their quiet persistence and the subtle interactions that will eventually lead to organized, self-replicating systems. Every particle is a gentle participant in the unfolding meditation of life's potential. You drift further, sensing the calm yet persistent energy in the environment. From the subtle warmth of sunlight to the quiet pressure of gravity, every force guides, influences, and nurtures. You feel the patient choreography of matter, energy, and forces preparing the stage for the first gentle stirrings of life. You drift through a nebula, a cloud of dust and gas suspended in the quiet darkness of space. Around you, tiny particles float, seemingly insignificant on their own, yet holding the potential for worlds. Gravity weaves its subtle influence, drawing clusters together, nudging motion into gentle orbits. You sense the meditative patience in this process, the slow shaping of matter across incomprehensible spans of time. Each grain of dust carries a story, a history of stars long extinguished, of ancient explosions that scattered elements across the cosmos. You float alongside these particles, feeling their individuality, their quiet potential. Alone, a grain seems unremarkable. Together, they form the foundation of planets yet to emerge, Slowly, collisions begin. Particles meet, stick, and coalesce, guided by gravity and subtle electrostatic forces. Each contact is gentle, deliberate, creating larger aggregates. You sense the quiet rhythm in these tiny interactions, a meditation in accumulation and harmony. Over centuries and millennia, clusters grow, slowly gaining mass and influence. Imagine the gradual formation of a planetesimal, a tiny protoplanet in the midst of swirling debris. Its surface is irregular, pockmarked by countless collisions. Yet it possesses a quiet gravity that begins to pull in more matter. You drift alongside it, feeling its growing presence. The soft power of persistence that transforms dust into a coherent body. As more material gathers, rotation begins. The nascent planet spins slowly, guided by angular momentum inherited from its surrounding cloud. You sense the gentle balance between accumulation and motion, the way each new particle adjusts the rhythm, the tilt, and the eventual orbit of the forming world. Some collisions are energetic, reshaping surfaces, redistributing material, and creating the beginnings of mountains and valleys. Even in violence, there is rhythm. Each impact is absorbed over time, leaving a trace, a mark, in the slow story of formation. You sense the meditative quality of these events, the balance of chaos and order that births planets. Now imagine the young planet, surrounded by a disk of remaining dust and gas. Rings of material spiral gently, some destined to join the planet. You drift among these rings, sensing their subtle influence. The delicate tug of gravity and the gentle nudges of radiation pressure, guiding matter into patterns both beautiful and functional. You float closer to the surface of this young planet, sensing the heat generated by compression and collisions. It is not a violent heat, but a quiet, sustaining energy that allows differentiation. Heavier elements sinking toward the core, lighter ones rising toward the surface. You feel the patient, careful choreography of matter settling into layers, the slow organization of a world from chaos. Even small protoplanets influence their neighbors. You sense the quiet tug of gravity, gently sculpting orbits, preventing collisions, and fostering harmony within the system. The birth of one planet resonates across the surrounding space, creating a meditation of interconnected growth and balance. Imagine floating past another nascent planet forming nearby. Its composition differs subtly, reflecting the distribution of elements in its local environment. You sense the diversity of worlds in formation, each with its own rhythm, its own story, yet all guided by the same patient forces that sculpt matter across the cosmos. Some material, caught in the planet's gravity but unable to settle, forms moons, rings, or belts. You drift with these fragments, sensing the elegance of their motion, the way they participate in the planetary meditation, without haste, without force, yet with gentle precision. Each orbit, each rotation, adds to the slow rhythm of creation. Time stretches in this quiet environment. You float alongside processes that take millions of years, feeling the accumulation of patience embedded in the formation of planets. Every grain of dust, every collision, and every orbit contributes to a story written in slow, deliberate movements. A narrative of emergence that unfolds without urgency. You notice how light and radiation play a subtle role. Photons from nearby stars, warm dust, influence chemical reactions, and shape surfaces. Even the smallest nudges, repeated across vast spans of time, contribute to the evolution of planetary atmospheres, surfaces, and potential for life. You sense the quiet persistence of energy in shaping matter. A meditative interaction between light and mass. Magnetic fields, to leave their imprint. Charged particles spiral along invisible lines, influencing the distribution of dust and gas. You drift alongside these unseen forces, sensing their careful guidance, their patient orchestration in the dance of planetary formation. Even the invisible is essential. A quiet hand shaping what will eventually be seen. Imagine now the moment when differentiation is largely complete, the planet forming a dense core and a lighter crust. Heat still radiates, and subtle tectonic movements begin. You sense the quiet energy within, the patient stirring that will eventually sculpt landscapes, oceans, and atmospheres. Every movement is deliberate, a soft meditation on emergence and endurance. The presence of neighboring planets continues to influence development. You sense their gentle gravitational tugs, shaping orbits, stabilizing rotation, and sometimes causing subtle shifts. These interactions, repeated over millions of years, are part of a patient symphony where each planet contributes to the overall harmony of the system. You drift higher, away from the planetary surface, and notice the subtle accumulation of comets and asteroids. Some collide, delivering water and organic molecules. Others settle into distant orbits, forming belts or satellites. You sense the patient choreography of cosmic material, quietly seeding possibilities for life and complex chemistry. Dust, gas, and energy continue to swirl in harmony. You drift among the remaining debris, sensing the slow clearing of the environment. Collisions become rarer, orbits more stable, and the young planetary system begins to resemble the calm elegance of a mature arrangement. Each particle, each planet, contributes to a meditation on balance and persistence. Even the smallest bodies carry significance. Meteoroids impacting the young planet create subtle changes, sculpting landscapes and delivering new material. You sense the quiet persistence of these interactions, their cumulative effect over time, shaping the world in ways invisible to the hurried mind. Imagine now that the planet has begun to cool, its atmosphere forming through the gentle release of gases and volcanic activity. Oceans may begin to gather, fed by impacts and condensation. You drift among these subtle transformations, sensing the patient emergence of habitable environments, the slow preparation for potential life as the system stabilizes. You notice how energy, matter, and forces continue their quiet dance. Gravity maintains orbits, light shapes, temperatures, and residual collisions contribute to surface evolution. You sense the meditation inherent in the formation of planets, patience, subtlety, and persistent guidance. You float above this new world, feeling the culmination of countless processes spanning millions of years. From tiny grains of dust to massive protoplanets, each element has contributed to the slow unfolding of creation. You sense the quiet artistry in the process, a cosmic rhythm of growth, change, and balance. Even as planets stabilize, creation continues subtly. Minor collisions, asteroid impacts, and the gentle influence of radiation and magnetic fields persist, You drift among these quiet processes, sensing the continuity and patient persistence that define cosmic evolution. Talks you reflect on the meditative pace of planetary formation. Unlike human endeavors, it unfolds without urgency, without haste, guided by invisible forces and subtle interactions. Each step is deliberate, gentle, and enduring, a quiet testament to the patience inherent in the cosmos. You float in the silent expanse of space, aware of something unseen, a gentle presence that guides motion without sound. These are the invisible force, gravity, magnetism, radiation quietly orchestrating the movements of asteroids, planets, stars, and even the drifting dust you met earlier. You sense them as a soft, rhythmic pull, a cosmic dance that is patient, persistent, and precise. Gravity is the first force you notice, subtle yet unrelenting. It pulls without haste, drawing particles, dust clouds, and planets into orbits that have lasted millions, sometimes billions, of years. You sense its quiet patience, the way it arranges matter into structures that are balanced, stable, and harmonious. Even in its seeming invisibility, gravity is a sculptor, shaping the cosmos with soft, persistent hands. Imagine floating near an asteroid, feeling its slight tug, then noticing the gentle influence of nearby planets. You sense the interplay of multiple gravitational fields, the careful negotiation between attraction and motion. This invisible force creates a rhythm in space, a delicate pulse that guides trajectories, collisions, and the formation of larger structures. Magnetism drifts nearby, subtle yet intricate. You sense it as a gentle field surrounding certain celestial bodies, influencing charged particles and guiding cosmic radiation. It is an invisible sculptor of motion, shaping the paths of solar winds and auroras, forming patterns that dance across planetary skies. You float alongside it, feeling its quiet artistry. Even radiation is a force, though different from gravity and magnetism. It carries energy across vast distances, nudging particles, breaking bonds, and sometimes catalyzing change. You drift with these gentle currents, sensing their influence on dust, molecules, and the surfaces of distant asteroids. Every interaction is deliberate in its quietness, yet profound in its consequences. Imagine the intricate web formed by these forces together. Gravity keeps planets in orbit. Magnetism shapes radiation flows, and photons gently warm and illuminate surfaces. You sense the elegance of this invisible choreography, a patient meditation of influence and effect. Stretching across light years, you drift alongside a small asteroid, feeling how gravity subtly tugs at its irregular shape, creating rotation, wobble, and slow drift. These movements, although imperceptible to the hurried mind, are critical in the shaping of its surface and the arrangement of dust around it. You sense the quiet persistence of invisible forces, their patient role in the evolution of matter. Magnetic fields extend far beyond what your senses can immediately detect. You sense them in the solar wind, guiding charged particles, shaping auroras. The invisible hand of magnetism is gentle, yet firm, orchestrating events without rush or violence. You float with awareness, feeling its meditative rhythm across vast spaces. Gravity also carries a subtle temporal influence. It warps space and time, bending the paths of light and matter alike. You sense this distortion as a gentle pull on perception itself, a soft modulation in the rhythm of your cosmic drift. Even light, which travels so patiently across space, bends under gravity's quiet insistence, creating a harmony between motion and presence. Radiation pressure is another soft, unseen force. Photons striking small particles impart a minuscule push, guiding dust and ice along gentle paths. You float alongside these movements, sensing the quiet interplay of energy and matter. Even the smallest forces, when accumulated over eons, shaped trajectories, sculpt surfaces, and influence the formation of celestial structures. Imagine the invisible connections that extend through interstellar space. Gravity pulls clouds into spirals. Magnetism threads, filaments, and radiation illuminates, nudges, and transforms. You sense this network as a patient, gentle web linking stars, nebulae, and planets into a coherent rhythm. It is a cosmic meditation, subtle, quiet, and enduring. Even the tiniest asteroid experiences the touch of these forces. Gravity tugs, radiation nudges, and magnetic fields influence charged particles on its surface. You sense the slow, cumulative effect of these interactions, shaping orbits, rotations, and even chemical compositions over millions of years. Each gentle influence contributes to the patient choreography of the universe. Imagine floating near a binary star system, where two suns dance around one another. Gravity pulls them in intricate orbits, radiation flows between them, and magnetic fields twist and curl in invisible patterns. You drift in this meditative dance, sensing how invisible forces maintain harmony amid complexity. Each movement deliberate and unhurried. The interplay of forces also guides planetary rings, asteroid belts, and dust clouds. Gravity tugs, collisions redistribute matter, and radiation shapes. You drift among these structures, feeling the quiet negotiation between forces, a patient equilibrium that allows stability without the need for abrupt interference. Even human exploration senses these forces. Spacecraft navigate with an understanding of gravity, magnetism, and radiation, using gentle adjustments to harness these invisible powers. You sense the parallel between human observation and cosmic processes. Patience, subtlety, and precision are essential for harmony. You drift further, sensing how forces extend across the galaxy. Gravity guides stars within clusters, magnetism threads the interstellar medium, and radiation carries energy across voids. You feel the vast, patient web of influence, each unseen hand gently shaping matter and energy in a quiet meditation that spans billions of years. Consider now the scale of these forces. From the tug on a single dust grain to the orbit of galaxies, their influence is consistent, patient, and unhurried. You sense the unity in these invisible patterns, a meditation in connectivity that links the smallest particle to the largest cosmic structure. Even in the emptiness between stars, these forces persist. Gravity draws filaments of matter together, radiation illuminates and transforms, and magnetism threads subtle lines across space. You float among them, sensing their gentle influence, the quiet persistence that organizes chaos into harmony. Imagine drifting alongside a comet, feeling gravity's tug, radiation's pressure, and magnetic whispers. Each interaction is slow, deliberate, and patient, guiding its journey across the solar system. You sense the meditative rhythm of these forces, their quiet role in shaping motion, matter, and energy without haste or disturbance. The universe is a dance of invisible forces, subtle yet profound. Gravity, magnetism, and radiation shape worlds, guide dust, illuminate surfaces, and influence chemistry. You sense their presence everywhere, a meditation in the quiet, patient orchestration of cosmic processes. You drift through the quiet expanse of space, feeling a delicate presence brushing past you. It is nearly invisible, yet it is everywhere. Cosmic dust, the gentle whisper of creation. Tiny grains, remnants of ancient stars, float slowly in the void, carrying stories of explosions, births, and transformations that occurred long before your eyes opened to the peekaboo. Imagine reaching out and sensing these particles. Each is a miniature archive, holding elements formed in the hearts of stars: carbon, oxygen, silicon, iron. They are patient keepers of history, traveling across light years with gentle persistence. You float alongside them, sensing their quiet passage and the stories embedded in their structure. Some dust grains are suit-like, formed in the final breaths of dying stars. Others are crystalline, carrying patterns forged under unimaginable heat and pressure. You drift among this diversity, sensing the unique rhythm of each particle, the subtle individuality that defines even the smallest speck in space. As you move closer to an asteroid belt, dust begins to shimmer faintly in the scattered light of distant stars. Each grain reflects a tiny fraction of the sun's glow, creating a soft cosmic glow that illuminates paths between rocks and debris. You sense the patience in these reflections, the gentle dance of matter and light interacting over eons. Consider how cosmic dust contributes to the formation of planets and asteroids. Even the tiniest grains act as seeds, slowly attracting more particles through gravity and collisions. You drift alongside this process, sensing the meditative rhythm of accumulation, the quiet shaping of worlds from seemingly insignificant specks. Dust also influences chemistry in space. Molecules cling to grains, reacting slowly over millions of years, forming water, organics, and complex compounds. You float among these tiny laboratories, sensing the patient creativity at work. Every grain is a workshop, a subtle environment where matter transforms, quietly preparing the ingredients for life and planetary formation. Imagine now that some dust grains originate from distant supernova. You drift alongside them, sensing the energy they carry, the history of explosive death encoded in their structure. Each particle is a silent messenger traveling across the galaxy, whispering secrets of forces and reactions that shaped entire star systems. Even in the vast emptiness, dust affects light. You notice distant starlight dimming and reddening as it passes through clouds of cosmic dust. You sense the gentle hand of this subtle influence, shaping perception without force, filtering and coloring the universe in soft, invisible ways. Light and dust dance together, creating quiet harmonies that span cosmic distances. As you approach a nebula, dust clouds gather and swirl, creating dense regions where stars may one day ignite. You float among this delicate structure, sensing the patient accumulation of matter, the quiet nurturing of stellar nurseries. Each grain contributes to the eventual formation of suns and planets. A slow, deliberate meditation of creation. Even the smallest particles can shape orbits subtly over time. Radiation pressure, collisions, and gravitational nudges guide dust along paths that eventually contribute to rings around planets or belts between stars. You sense the elegance in this slow choreography, a meditation in persistence and gentle influence. Some dust grains drift alone, isolated in the vastness, yet even in solitude they hold stories of origin and transformation. You float with them, sensing the quiet patience of their journey, the long, deliberate passage from the remnants of dying stars to their eventual encounter with planets, moons, or even your own senses. Imagine the diversity of dust in your own solar system: carbon compounds, metals, and ice. Each type has a unique history and a subtle influence on the environments it touches. You drift alongside these differences, sensing the meditative interplay of composition, origin, and interaction. Cosmic dust also carries energy. Tiny impacts on asteroids release heat and vibrations, shaping surfaces and creating subtle changes over millennia. You sense the patient accumulation of these effects, the quiet sculpting of worlds without haste or violence. Every touch, every collision is a meditation in persistence and influence. Floating further, you imagine human exploration of cosmic dust. Spacecraft and instruments collect these particles, studying their composition to understand the history of the solar system and beyond. You sense the reverence in this observation, a patient dialogue between humans and the silent messengers of the cosmos. Even in the deepest voids, dust connects distant regions. Radiation and magnetic fields subtly move particles, forming bridges between clouds, rings, and interstellar space. You sense the quiet web that emerges, linking fragments of matter into a coherent, patient rhythm that spans light-years. As you drift among these grains, you notice their influence on planetary atmospheres and surfaces. Meteoroids burn upon entry, leaving trails and distributing elements. Dust in orbit reflects sunlight, affecting climate and temperature. You sense the gentle power in these seemingly insignificant particles, the quiet shaping of worlds across eons. Some grains are ancient, predating planets themselves. You float alongside these time travelers, sensing the continuity of matter, the patient persistence that connects past, present, and future. Each particle is a meditation on endurance, a gentle reminder of the longevity of cosmic processes. Consider the delicate balance of dust in rings around planets. Gravity, collisions, and orbital resonance maintain these structures with quiet precision. You drift among these rings, sensing the patient artistry that keeps order without force. An intricate dance of countless tiny participants. Even in the light of nearby stars, dust continues its subtle work. Photons trigger reactions, heat surfaces, and influence motion. You sense the interplay of energy and matter, a gentle meditation on transformation that stretches across space and time. Every interaction is deliberate in its quietness, purposeful without urgency. Now imagine drifting into the outskirts of a forming solar system, where dust clouds are thick and dense. You float among particles that may one day coalesce into planets or moons. Each grain carries the potential for creation, a silent promise of worlds yet to be born. You sense the patience of these processes unfolding slowly over millions of years. Unnoticed yet profound. Even the dust that drifts through interstellar space carries the seeds of potential life. Simple organic compounds, amino acids, and other molecules adhere to grains, waiting patiently for circumstances that allow them to transform. You float alongside these tiny carriers, sensing the quiet hope and possibility inherent in their existence. As you drift among the whispering dust, you feel a deep connection. These grains have journeyed far, witnessed the birth and death of stars, and now touch your consciousness. You sense the gentle storytelling of the universe, the quiet patience of creation, and the soft, unhurried rhythm that connects every particle to the cosmos. You drift slowly through the infinite dark, feeling the quiet presence of light. Not the harsh glare of nearby stars, but the soft glow of distant suns. Traveling across space for millions, sometimes billions, of years. Each photon is a messenger, carrying warmth and information, patiently journeying through the emptiness, untouched by time until it brushes against your imagination. Imagine the gentle touch of sunlight on a distant asteroid. Though it is far away, you can sense the warmth in your mind, the slow absorption of energy that nudges particles and subtly alters surfaces. Light is patient, quiet, yet profoundly influential, shaping motion, chemistry, and even the very appearance of the cosmos. They left their stars long before Earth existed, drifting across the galaxy in silent patience. You float alongside them, sensing the rhythm of their journey, and the way they gently illuminate everything they touch, revealing details and textures that would otherwise remain hidden, even in darkness. Light leaves traces. On asteroids, sunlight causes slow temperature changes that shape their surfaces over time. Shadows form and shift, highlighting ridges, craters, and the delicate layering of mineral hearts. You drift among these patterns, sensing the meditative rhythm created by illumination and shade, the slow artistry of solar touch across ancient rocks. Light also enables vision, even if it travels across unimaginable distances. You imagine the human eye, or a camera aboard a distant probe, capturing these photons, turning them into images of asteroids, planets, and stars. You sense the connection between the quiet journey of light and the patient observation of conscious beings, a subtle exchange that brings knowledge without urgency or force. Imagine now the subtle influence of light on chemical reactions. Photons can nudge molecules, providing energy that allows atoms to rearrange. In icy interstellar grains, sunlight gently triggers reactions that slowly build complex organics. You float among these transformations, sensing the quiet, patient creativity of light, which shapes the evolution of matter and potential life across space. Even the smallest rays carry significance. A single photon hitting a mineral surface can subtly change its temperature, its structure, or the reflection it casts. You sense these tiny interactions, their delicate influence over immense periods of time. The universe is both vast and intricate, and light is one of the quietest, most persistent weavers of connection, drifting among asteroids. You notice how their surfaces glint under the sun's rays. The sparkle is not sudden or sharp. It is a gentle shimmer, a reflection of patient interaction between matter and energy. You sense the rhythm in this illumination, a soft heartbeat of light echoing across the cold void. Now imagine starlight interacting with planetary atmospheres. Photons scatter, refract, and bend, creating colors and subtle shifts in temperature. Even far from Earth, you sense the gentle artistry of these interactions, the soft shaping of worlds through light. It is not chaotic. It is patient, deliberate, and beautiful, revealing detail and subtlety in ways that are often invisible to hurried eyes. As you drift farther, you notice the light of distant stars mingling with that of nearer suns. They create a gentle tapestry of illumination, overlapping waves of energy that reach across space. You sense the patient harmony in this cosmic glow, how multiple sources contribute to a quiet symphony of photons touching planets, asteroids, and your imagination alike. Consider the journey of a single photon from a star at the edge of the galaxy. It may have left its sun when the first life on Earth was beginning. It drifts slowly through interstellar clouds, past nebulae and asteroids, carrying energy and history until it finally brushes against your consciousness. You sense the quiet persistence of this journey, the way light links time and space in a gentle, patient chain. You also feel the connection between light and life. Photosynthesis, the process that sustains plants and oxygen on Earth, depends on sunlight. Even distant photons may one day nourish life, their energy captured and transformed. You float among these possibilities, sensing the gentle rhythm of energy transfer, the quiet patience that allows life to emerge from cosmic illumination. Light carries information as well as energy. By studying the spectra of distant stars and asteroids, scientists can detect composition, temperature, and motion. You drift alongside these methods, sensing the dialogue between light and observer, a patient exchange of knowledge carried across unfathomable distances. Every photon is a teacher, revealing truths with quiet persistence rather than demand. Now imagine a comet, its icy surface catching the light of the sun for the first time in centuries. You sense the gentle warming, the slow release of gases, and the shimmering tail forming in response. Even this dramatic display is patient, unfolding over days and weeks, a meditative rhythm of illumination and motion. Even in the deepest darkness of interstellar space, light exists in traces cosmic background radiation, faint glows of distant stars, and the subtle whispers of ancient supernova. You float among these faint illuminations, sensing the patience of energy traveling for billions of years, connecting everything silently, softly, and persistently. Consider how human eyes and instruments translate this light into understanding. Telescopes capture patterns, cameras record subtle glows, and spectrographs reveal hidden compositions. You sense the patience in this process, the careful observation that mirrors the quiet journey of photons themselves. Knowledge emerges slowly, gently, without urgency, like the unfolding of a cosmic meditation. Imagine now that light is not just energy, but a bridge across time. The photons you drift among may have witnessed the birth of stars, the collisions of asteroids, and the formation of planets. You sense the continuity, the silent narrative carried by these rays, and feel connected to events that predate human memory and imagination as you float with awareness. You notice the interplay of light and shadow across surfaces. Each glint and shimmer creates texture, depth, and a subtle sense of movement. Even in vast stillness, illumination adds rhythm and detail, like gentle brushstrokes on an endless cosmic canvas. You sense the meditative quality of light, the soft pulse that touches every corner of the universe without haste. Now, as you imagine drifting past countless suns, each radiating energy and warmth, you feel a sense of wonder and calm. Light links everything: asteroids, planets, molecules, and atoms in a web of patient connectivity. You sense that each journeying photon is part of a meditation on time, energy, and presence. Even as you reflect on the vast distances and slow travel of light, you notice its quiet constancy. Despite space's emptiness, light persists, delivering energy, information, and connection. You drift among this patience, allowing it to soothe and guide your thoughts, harmonizing your own rhythm with the subtle pulse of cosmic illumination. You drift gently through the vast darkness among wandering asteroids and the soft glow of distant starlight. In this silence, you sense another kind of movement, one far smaller than spinning rocks or orbiting planets. You feel the vibrations of atoms, the gentle tug of electrons around nuclei, and the subtle whispers of protons and neutrons holding firm in their delicate bonds. This is cosmic chemistry, quiet yet fundamental, shaping the very matter that fills the universe. Imagine hydrogen, the simplest and most ancient of elements, drifting through space in invisible clouds. You float alongside it, sensing its readiness to bond, to merge, to transform. Hydrogen is patient, abundant, and persistent, waiting for the right circumstances to ignite reactions that will one day form stars, water, and the molecules that sustain life. Helium drifts nearby, formed in the hearts of stars long ago. You sense its quiet stability, a gentle presence that neither rushes nor fades. It moves gracefully, a companion to hydrogen, yet distinct in its calm, unchanging nature. Together, these elements form the quiet foundation upon which the universe builds complexity. Now imagine carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen floating amid asteroids and interstellar dust. They wait patiently, ready to link with one another when conditions allow. In these bonds, you sense potential, the power to form molecules that can carry information, energy, and eventually, life. These elements whisper to each other across space, their interactions slow, deliberate, and timeless. Within asteroids, you sense the subtle warmth of past collisions and the gentle heat from radioactive decay. This warmth allows atoms to rearrange, forming new compounds in a quiet, meditative alchemy. Silicates, metals, and ices shift imperceptibly, creating minerals and structures that tell stories of pressure, time, and transformation. You drift among them, feeling the patient artistry of cosmic chemistry. Even the simplest reactions in space carry elegance. Hydrogen and oxygen join to form water, a molecule that will one day nurture life on a small, blue planet. You float among these tiny unions, sensing their quiet importance. Each bond is a patient act, forming without haste, contributing to the slow unfolding of complexity that spans billions of years. You notice the subtle influence of light. Ultraviolet rays and cosmic radiation gently nudge molecules, breaking some bonds and forming others. This interplay is neither violent nor abrupt. It is a soft dialogue, a meditation in transformation. You drift with this rhythm, sensing that even in apparent emptiness, the universe continually experiments, gently creating and recreating itself. Within asteroids, metallic elements mingle with silicates and carbon-rich compounds. You feel the quiet patience of these reactions, the slow formation of minerals that will endure for eons. Platinum, iron, nickel, and gold form crystalline structures, tiny architectures of matter shaped by invisible hands. You sense the beauty in their precision, the meditative care of atoms arranging themselves into harmony. Some molecules are fragile, delicate, and easily disrupted. Others are resilient, able to survive the harshness of space. You float among both types, sensing their quiet dance, their resilience and vulnerability. Each contributes to the complexity of the cosmos. Each holds a secret about the history of matter and the slow unfolding of the universe. Imagine now the subtle interactions on a microscopic scale. Electrons shift, orbitals overlap, and atoms vibrate in soft patterns that resonate across space. You sense this vibration as a gentle rhythm, a pulse underlying the quiet vastness around you. These tiny dances are the foundation of chemical reactions, the patient heartbeat of cosmic alchemy. Even in interstellar clouds, where densities are low and temperatures are frigid, chemistry persists. You drift among icy grains coated with simple molecules, imagining the slow formation of complex organics. Carbon chains, amino acids, and sugars assemble in silence, their existence a testament to patience and possibility. You sense the quiet creativity of the universe, working without hurry or expectation. Within planets and asteroids, chemical processes continue in slow cycles. Heat, pressure, and time transform matter subtly, forming layers, veins, and structures that record the passage of eons. You float alongside these transformations, feeling the meditative rhythm of change, the quiet patience of the universe shaping each particle. Consider the role of catalysts, invisible guides that help reactions proceed without being consumed. You drift alongside these agents, sensing their gentle influence, the way they allow matter to rearrange without force. In this quiet guidance, you perceive the elegance of cosmic chemistry, the patient facilitation of transformation that preserves balance and encourages harmony. Imagine watching a nebula from afar, seeing vast clouds of gas and dust slowly coalesce. Within this gentle gathering, chemistry weaves a tapestry of complexity. Molecules form, break apart, and reform, creating a dynamic equilibrium that persists across light years. You drift among this dance, sensing the rhythm of slow creation, a meditation in matter. Even the smallest reactions hold significance. A single bond formed or broken may influence the composition of a future planet, the chemistry of an asteroid, or the potential for life somewhere far away. You float among these infinitesimal events, sensing their quiet power, their unhurried patience, and the delicate interconnectedness of all matter. As you drift deeper, you notice isotopes of elements, subtly different, yet united by identity. These variations carry the history of stellar processes, supernova, and the slow accumulation of matter in space. You sense the quiet story embedded in each atom, a narrative written in patient, meticulous patterns of cosmic chemistry. Now imagine the future, where human curiosity may explore these chemical landscapes. Robotic probes and instruments will gently measure compositions, detecting organics, metals, and volatiles. You drift alongside these imaginings, sensing the careful, meditative observation that mirrors the patient processes of the universe itself. Even in the stillness of space, chemical reactions connect everything. The hydrogen in your body, the oxygen in your lungs, and the carbon in your cells were once part of this cosmic dance. You feel an intimate connection, a meditation in recognizing that every atom is part of a patient, ongoing process that began long before life and will continue long after. The quiet alchemy of the cosmos is slow, persistent, and profound. Atoms merge, molecules shift, and matter transforms without urgency, yet with perfect precision. You float among this gentle motion, sensing the rhythm of the universe, and allowing it to harmonize with your own breath and heartbeat. Imagine now that every asteroid, comet, and interstellar cloud carries this chemical memory. Each mineral and molecule is a witness to ancient processes, patiently waiting to be noticed and understood. You drift alongside these silent chronicles, sensing their quiet testimony, their enduring patience, and their subtle contribution to the unfolding story of creation. Even as you reflect on these processes, the universe continues its work. Reactions occur in silence, energies shift gently, and atoms continue their patient dance. You float with awareness, feeling a connection to this quiet, eternal rhythm, sensing the meditation inherent in matter itself. Close your eyes and feel the subtle presence of gravity, not as a harsh tug, but as a patient, ever-present guide. You float freely in space, among asteroids and wandering rocks, and yet you sense an invisible hand shaping their motion. Gravity is gentle, persistent, and careful. A quiet artist sculpting the vast canvas of the cosmos. Notice how each asteroid drifts in a path dictated by nearby stars, planets, and other celestial bodies. They move gracefully, slowly tracing arcs that have been followed for millions of years. You sense the invisible rhythm of this motion, a calm flow that allows each rock to find its place in the grand choreography of the solar system. Some asteroids spin on their own axes while orbiting the sun, their rotations subtly influenced by gravitational interactions. You imagine the slow push and pull of forces shaping their spin and orbit like a soft, cosmic massage. Every tug is precise yet gentle, allowing the asteroid to continue its journey without disruption. A delicate dance of influence and adaptation floating alongside these wandering stones. You feel the interplay of gravitational forces as both tender and unyielding. Even the tiniest pull over vast distances and long spans of time shapes trajectories with perfect precision. You sense the patient intelligence of the universe, invisible yet deeply present, guiding matter in ways that are both subtle and profound. The planets themselves are sculpted by gravity. You drift past them, noticing how their orbits trace elegant ellipses around the sun. Each orbit is a dialogue with the star's mass, a quiet negotiation between momentum and pull. You sense that gravity is not just a force, but a gentle rhythm that maintains harmony across vast cosmic scales. Imagine an asteroid approaching a planet's gravitational influence. Its path bends slowly, nudged by unseen hands. You drift along with it, feeling the serene curve of its trajectory. There is no abruptness, no chaos, only patient adaptation. Gravity whispers to each particle, asking it to follow a path that preserves balance and connection. A soft guidance that has endured since the formation of the solar system. Even moons and small satellites respond to this subtle force. They orbit their planets in quiet obedience, tracing delicate paths across the darkness. You notice how gravity's gentle tug maintains stability, preventing collisions and allowing systems to flourish. You feel the meditative patience in every movement, the invisible connections binding every body to another dot as you drift. You imagine mapping these gravitational influences. Scientists chart orbits, predicting paths and potential interactions. Yet, this mapping is not forceful, it is an act of listening, a dialogue with the quiet pull of the universe. You sense the reverence inherent in this observation, the patient attention required to understand such subtle, enduring forces. The sun's gravity dominates the solar system, yet it is never abrupt or harsh. It holds planets and asteroids in its embrace, guiding them through time with infinite patience. You drift closer to this invisible presence, sensing how it stretches its influence across millions of kilometers, linking each body in an invisible web of quiet order. Even the smallest deviations in orbit reveal the delicate nature of gravity. Tiny nudges from passing asteroids, distant planets, or subtle effects like the Yarkovsky effect slowly alter paths over millions of years. You sense the elegance in this slow transformation, the meditative patience of the universe at work, shaping each trajectory with care and foresight. Imagine now that gravity is a teacher. You float alongside asteroids and planets, learning from its lessons. It demonstrates balance, patience, and interconnectedness. Every path is an expression of harmony, every orbit a reflection of meticulous, invisible care. You sense that, in understanding gravity, you glimpse the quiet wisdom of the cosmos itself. Notice the influence of gravity on clusters of asteroids. They move together like a flock of birds, subtly guided by the collective pull of each other and nearby planets. You drift among them, sensing how connection and attraction shape motion without haste or coercion. Every body contributes to the balance. Every path matters, and you feel the beauty of this quiet cooperation. Consider comets as well, their long, graceful orbits tracing elliptical paths around the sun. Gravity tugs gently at their icy cores, guiding them through repeated journeys. You sense the slow unfolding of their stories, the rhythmic pattern of approach, retreat, and return. Each orbit carries a memory of cosmic cycles, a quiet repetition that lulls the mind into reflection. Now imagine human exploration within this gravitational dance. Spacecraft navigate these invisible currents, using gravity assists to glide gently past planets, saving energy while observing the delicate interplay of forces. You drift alongside these imaginings, sensing the patient calculations and subtle artistry required to move in harmony with cosmic motion. even in deep space. Far from planets and stars, gravity persists. It stretches across light years, linking galaxies and clusters, shaping the universe at the largest scales. You float in awareness of these vast threads, sensing the patient pull that binds everything from the tiniest asteroid to the largest galaxy. There is a profound calm in understanding that all matter is connected, moving in quiet rhythm under the influence of this invisible hand. As you drift among these thoughts, notice your own body. Gravity touches you too, gently holding you to the earth, shaping your perception of space and time. You sense the intimate connection between the force that governs celestial bodies and the one that defines your experience here and now. This reflection brings a sense of harmony, a quiet understanding that you are both a part of, an observer within the vast gravitational web. Floating further, you imagine gravity as a sculptor, patiently shaping planetary rings, guiding orbital resonances, and maintaining the delicate balance of moons and satellites. Its influence is pervasive yet gentle, unassuming yet profound. You sense the elegance of systems maintained by such quiet authority, and the patience required for such precise, eternal motion. Even as you drift past asteroids and planets, you notice subtle interactions. A slight nudge from one asteroid alters the path of another. Tidal forces shape moons, and gravitational resonances create patterns across planetary systems. You feel the meditative rhythm of this endless choreography, a quiet reminder that even in seeming emptiness, every body matters. Every movement resonates. Imagine now that each asteroid, each planet, and each moon carries the memory of countless gravitational dances. You drift alongside them, sensing their patience and endurance. The paths traced through space are not random, but measured and elegant, guided by invisible hands that insist on balance and continuity. As your awareness deepens, you notice how gravity unites the universe in its gentle embrace. Every orbit, spin, and trajectory is a note in the symphony of motion. You float within this melody, sensing the harmony of cosmic rhythms and the patient persistence of forces that are invisible yet undeniable. You drift slowly alongside the silent travelers of space, the asteroids you have been following for nights and hours that feel like moments. Each one carries within it the potential of ancient matter, patiently waiting to reveal its secrets. You sense their solidity, the quiet confidence of rocks that have journeyed for billions of years without haste, untouched except by gentle cosmic forces. Within these wandering stones, hidden cores gleam in your imagination. Metals formed in stellar furnaces long ago, forged in the heat of exploding stars, now rest quietly in asteroid hearts. Iron, nickel, and cobalt lie together like old friends, sharing their existence in silent harmony. You float near them, feeling the steady patience of these minerals, and sensing the deep connection between matter and the universe itself. Gold glimmers softly, a muted sparkle in the darkness. You do not chase it, but allow your awareness to rest on its quiet elegance. Platinum and rare silicates shimmer beside it, subtle and delicate, reminding you that value is often hidden and waits patiently for perception. You imagine the gentle rhythm of their atomic structures, each atom humming softly in place. A cosmic meditation that has lasted for eons, The surfaces of asteroids are rough, uneven, scarred by collisions and cosmic weathering. Yet beneath these outer layers lie intricate mineral hearts, waiting patiently to be understood. You drift along cracks and ridges, feeling the texture of imagined metal and stone, sensing how time has shaped each particle with infinite care. Even the smallest fissures carry stories of pressure, heat, and slow, deliberate change. Some asteroids are metallic throughout, dense and heavy with elements that trace back to ancient stars. Others are carbonaceous, with minerals mingled gently with ice and organic matter. You float among them, sensing the diversity and quiet complexity of their interiors. Each one is a miniature world, a repository of cosmic history and elemental abundance, patiently waiting to reveal itself. Imagine the patterns within their cores. Crystalline structures form slowly, atoms arranging themselves with careful precision, guided by the patient laws of physics. The metal lattice are both beautiful and functional, a quiet architecture of the cosmos, designed without intention but with perfect balance. You drift alongside them, feeling the slow rhythm of structure, the meditative pattern of creation at atomic scale. You sense that these mineral hearts are not only valuable but meaningful. They contain the building blocks of planets, the seeds of chemistry that may one day foster life, embedded in iron and silicate. You imagine the faint traces of past cosmic events, the collisions, the supernova, the drifting of clouds of dust and gas that brought elements together in delicate, timeless harmony. The heat of the sun touches some asteroids, causing their surfaces to shift gently. Yet deep inside, the mineral hearts remain unchanged, calm, and patient. You feel their quiet endurance, understanding that they have existed far longer than your mind can easily grasp. These cores have survived the birth of planets, the formation of moons, and the gradual movement of the solar system. You drift among them with awe, sensing the slow pulse of history held in matter itself. Consider the journey of human understanding. Telescopes, spectroscopes, and spacecraft allow us to glimpse these mineral hearts without touching them. You sense the gentle care in this observation, a dialogue of respect and patience with the cosmos. Scientists map the composition of asteroids, learning about density, structure, and potential resources. Each measurement is like a whispered conversation, revealing the secrets of minerals that have rested quietly for billions of years. Imagine now the potential for future exploration. Robotic probes may one day touch the surfaces of these rocks, gently sampling their cores. You drift alongside these imagined tools, feeling the delicate rhythm of interaction, careful, respectful, and slow. Metals and minerals yield their secrets gradually, like quiet companions willing to reveal themselves to a patient observer. Some cores are thought to be remnants of ancient planetary bodies, fragments broken apart in cataclysmic collisions. You float near them, sensing their history encoded in their structure and composition. The layering of metals and silicates tells a story of pressure, heat, and movement over incomprehensible spans of time. You imagine tracing these layers with your awareness, feeling the quiet pulse of the universe as it shaped and reshaped matter. Other asteroids are rich in volatiles, water, ammonia, and carbon-based compounds. You sense the potential they hold, not only for understanding planetary formation, but also for sustaining life in future exploration. Even these softer, Subtler materials seem patient, waiting to be understood. Their rhythms in harmony with the metallic hearts they accompany. You drift alongside the asteroid's rotation, noting how spinning affects the exposure of sunlight, gently warming certain areas while leaving others in perpetual shadow. The mineral hearts beneath remain undisturbed, their quiet glow imagined as a subtle pulse of energy within the silent stone. You sense the balance of motion and stillness, a dance of forces that has continued for billions of years. Consider the microscopic scale. Atoms within the minerals are vibrating softly, releasing tiny amounts of energy in a perfect, patient rhythm. You sense this inner motion like the slow heartbeat of the asteroid, a meditative resonance that reflects the universe's calm continuity. These atomic dances are invisible, yet they define the character and strength of each mineral, and in your imagination, they shine with quiet light. Imagine touching a piece of stardust embedded in the asteroid, feeling the connection between the smallest fragments of stars and the larger metal core. You sense that each element tells a story, a record of ancient supernova, cosmic clouds, and the slow assembly of matter. Gold, platinum, iron, silicate, they are not mere substances, but pages in a book written by the universe over eons. Now, envision the interplay of minerals and metals, the layering that forms in response to pressure, heat, and cosmic impact. You drift among these layers, sensing the rhythm of their formation, the slow, deliberate logic of natural forces. There is beauty in the patterns, elegance in the structures, and a profound quiet in their persistence. The asteroid carries its secrets patiently, inviting your mind to slow, to reflect, and to marvel. Even in the emptiness of space, these mineral hearts connect to everything. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, and the oxygen in your lungs are distant cousins of these asteroids, forged in the same stellar furnaces. You sense a meditative harmony, the gentle reminder that you are intimately linked to these wandering treasures, part of a cosmic story that flows endlessly as you drift. You notice the interplay of light and shadow across metallic surfaces. Some areas glint brightly, others remain softly dark, revealing texture and subtle structure. You feel a quiet awe for the patience of the universe, shaping and preserving these minerals, allowing them to exist long before anyone observed them, and to endure long after. You imagine mapping these mineral hearts, understanding the composition, density, and potential of each. The act is slow and deliberate, a meditation in itself. Each measurement reveals only a small part of the story, yet, with patience, the picture becomes richer, deeper, and more connected. You float alongside these patterns, sensing their rhythm, their silent communication across space and time. Finally, you allow yourself to sense the quiet energy within. These asteroids, their mineral hearts, the distant starlight reflecting off their surfaces all combine into a gentle awareness. You float with this sense of connection, letting the slow pulse of cosmic matter merge with the rhythm of your own breath. You feel both immense and intimate, aware of the universe's vast patience and your quiet place within it. Close your eyes and imagine drifting through the vast, silent expanse of space once again. Around you, tiny fragments and larger rocks glide slowly, suspended in a deep, cosmic black. They are asteroids, ancient travelers carrying the memories of the early solar system. Each moves along its own quiet path, guided by gentle gravitational whispers, and you float among them with no rush, observing their serene voyage. Some asteroids spin slowly, turning in a lazy, deliberate motion, while others tumble gracefully, their rotations revealing patterns etched across their surfaces by billions of years of collisions and cosmic radiation. You sense their stories, the subtle marks that tell of past encounters, ancient impacts, and the slow shaping of their rocky forms. Each spin is a heartbeat of history, patient and meditative, quietly signaling the passage of time. As you drift closer, you notice that each asteroid is different. Some are dark and metallic, heavy with iron and nickel. Others are lighter, covered in carbon-rich layers that hint at organic compounds and primordial dust. You feel their uniqueness, sensing that each carries a personal signature, a fingerprint of cosmic origin, waiting for someone or something to understand its quiet value. Imagine the invisible forces that guide these wandering stones. Gravity tugs gently from nearby planets and the sun, guiding their paths with patience. Magnetic fields, solar radiation, and minute collisions add their subtle influence, shaping orbits that can last millions or even billions of years. You float alongside these influences, noticing how small forces can guide enormous bodies with elegant precision, and how even in emptiness there is order. You begin to sense the mapping of these celestial treasures, not with haste or imposition, but with patience and observation. Telescopes on Earth and instruments aboard spacecraft detect their positions, motions, and brightness. Patterns emerge from repeated observations, trails across the sky, slight changes in luminosity, subtle shifts in orbit. You feel yourself following these invisible trails, drifting gently alongside the scientists who chart these wandering relics. Some asteroids are solitary travelers, while others move in clusters, like drifting flocks of silent birds. You imagine tracing their paths over centuries, noting how each body interacts with the gravitational pull of planets or with one another. Every path tells a story of ancient collisions, close encounters, and slow, steady migration across the solar system. You sense the quiet elegance of these cosmic journeys, patient and deliberate, a meditation written in motion. Consider the role of light. Sunlight glints off the surfaces of these rocks, revealing their texture and composition. You drift closer, noticing that small variations in reflection indicate differences in material, shape, and structure. Soft glimmers of silicate or metal catch your attention, like starlight scattered across dark water. You feel the gentle dialogue between light and matter, a quiet signal allowing careful observers to understand without disturbance. Now imagine the scientists, tools as extensions of mindfulness. Spectroscopy deciphers the chemical composition. Radar maps their surface. Infrared readings reveal temperature and density. Each observation is slow, deliberate, a soft touch on the mystery of the asteroid. You sense the meditative rhythm of discovery, gentle and intentional, honoring the quiet history carried in these cosmic travelers. Some asteroids are destined to become more familiar companions. They approach Earth's orbit periodically, allowing closer study and even potential future exploration. You drift beside these near-Earth objects, noticing the subtle shifts in speed and trajectory. There is no sense of urgency, observation, understanding, and the patient charting of paths across the void. Consider the mapping process as a conversation with the universe. Each measurement, each calculation, each gentle prediction is a way of listening. Scientists learn to hear the whispers of gravity, the nudges of collisions, the slow changes in spin. You float with this awareness, sensing that mapping is not a forceful act, but a meditation, a respectful engagement with objects that have drifted through space for eons. Imagine the treasure hidden within these rocks. Metals like platinum, gold, and rare earth elements shine quietly in your mind's eye. Organic compounds, carbonaceous clays, and ice hint at the primordial chemistry that helped seed life on Earth. You sense the potential they hold, not with greed, but with awe, as silent, patient witnesses of creation. Their value is in knowledge, in understanding the story of the solar system, in sensing the slow rhythm of cosmic formation. Some asteroids spin with surprising speed, while others barely rotate, drifting in a slow ballet. You observe their motion with calm curiosity, noting how rotation affects the exposure of sunlight and the surface temperature. Tiny variations in spin reveal internal structure, hints of density, composition, and history. You feel the elegance in these subtle dances, the patient storytelling of celestial bodies shaped by time. Now, notice the trails they leave: dust, small fragments, and subtle gravitational wakes. You drift alongside these traces, sensing that every path, the solar system itself, becomes a gentle map of interactions, a slowly moving tapestry woven across millions of kilometers. Yet you perceive it with meditative intimacy. Imagine approaching a particularly ancient asteroid, one formed nearly 4.5 billion years ago. Its surface is rough, cratered, and irregular, a record of eons of collisions and cosmic weathering. You drift near it slowly, sensing the quiet endurance of this relic, feeling its patient journey through the solar system. It has witnessed the birth of planets, the rise of life on Earth, and the silent march of time. You float in quiet awe. The smallest asteroids, called meteoroids, also play their part in this cosmic meditation. They drift unnoticed until they graze a planet or disintegrate in the sun's warmth. Each tiny fragment carries a story, no less important than the largest bodies. And you sense that in space, every particle has a role, every orbit has meaning. You float among them, noticing the unity of vast and tiny, silent and glowing, ancient and eternal. Now, imagine tracing these bodies across the sky for years. Patterns emerge from patient observation, orbital resonance. You drift with the rhythm of these patterns, feeling a gentle sense of harmony and balance in the solar system. There is no hurry, no abruptness, only the continuous, meditative unfolding of celestial mechanics. As you drift through this cosmic map, you sense the deep connection between observation and understanding. Each asteroid carries secrets of time and space, and the act of mapping is a quiet dialogue with the universe. You feel the gentle patience of scientists and observers, their calm attention revealing truths embedded in stone, ice, and dust. The sunlight glinting off distant asteroids warms your awareness. You imagine each spark as a signal, a whisper from ancient matter that has traveled light years to meet your curiosity. You float with ease, letting the rhythm of orbits, spins, and rotations lull your mind into a slow, reflective state. Close your eyes and imagine the vastness around you, the deep silence of space stretching endlessly. You drift, weightless, among ancient fragments of stars that have journeyed for billions of years. Each tiny particle glimmers faintly, like a memory of a time before the Earth existed, before your ancestors walked the soil. You feel the gentle pull of curiosity, drawing you toward these silent witnesses of creation. These fragments, often called stardust, are composed of elements forged in the hearts of distant stars. Hydrogen and helium once danced in fusion reactions, creating carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen. Later, massive stars exploded in supernova, scattering their elemental gifts across the cosmos. You imagine yourself floating in that soft, sparkling rain of matter, each grain a quiet testament to creation, patient and eternal. As you drift, you sense that each fragment carries a story. Some traveled across galaxies, weaving through cosmic clouds, brushing past nascent planets and asteroids. Others fell quietly toward young suns, absorbed into clouds of gas and dust that would later collapse to form solar systems. These tiny travelers are the original threads of life, connecting you, Earth, and the stars in a silent, unbroken chain. Notice the textures of stardust. Though invisible to the naked eye in your mind's eye, they shimmer with subtle colors, soft golds, silvers, deep blues, and occasional flashes of green. Each hue represents an element, an atom shaped under incredible pressure and heat. You float alongside them, sensing their quiet energy, imagining their age, and feeling the slow rhythm of their long journey. Time feels different here. Without gravity to anchor you, and without atmosphere to diffuse light, you notice the vast scales. The journey of a single particle may have spanned millions of years, drifting almost imperceptibly between stars. You sense patience in every motion, the slow, deliberate unfolding of creation. There is no rush. The universe has all the time it needs, and you are invited to join its quiet meditation. Now, imagine these particles gathering, pulled together by gentle forces of gravity and magnetic fields. Clouds of stardust swirl into soft, rotating disks around newborn stars. Within these clouds, collisions occur, small grains sticking together, forming pebbles and rocks, the seeds of future planets. You drift closer, seeing the slow choreography, sensing the rhythm of aggregation, a dance that lasts for eons. You feel a connection to this process. Just as stardust combines to create worlds, your own body is composed of atoms that once belonged to stars. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen you breathe, all were forged in distant stellar furnaces. You float in awe at this realization, sensing the intimacy of your connection to the universe. The quiet resonance that binds you to the cosmos. Tiny fragments continue their journeys, some destined to wander the void indefinitely, others drawn toward planets, moons, and comets. Imagine the delicate arcs of their trajectories, influenced by gravity, yet moving freely, weaving paths that span light years. You sense their gentle motion, drifting alongside them, letting their quiet persistence inspire a slow, steady rhythm within your own heartbeat. The colors and textures of stardust shift as you move closer to a dense cloud. Gas glows faintly with the light of nearby stars, illuminating particles like lanterns in the dark. You drift among these glowing fragments, sensing the soft warmth and quiet brilliance of creation. The universe is not loud or frantic here. It is patient, observant, and infinitely detailed. Some fragments carry ice water, ammonia, and methane captured in their journey through cold interstellar space. Others are rich in metals like iron and nickel, relics of ancient supernova. You imagine the intricate composition of each particle, a chemical library spanning billions of years. Floating among them, you sense the depth and diversity of cosmic history. Feeling both humble and connected, you notice that even in stillness there is motion. Particles collide softly, spin gently, and drift along invisible currents. Some form clusters, others break apart, and the process repeats endlessly. This quiet dance mirrors the cycles in your own life, moments of creation and dissolution, of growth and rest. You sense the resonance of these cycles, allowing your mind to slow, to match the rhythm of the cosmos. Imagine an asteroid or a comet passing nearby, a larger body carrying its own cargo of stardust. It moves gracefully, leaving a faint trail of particles behind, a whisper of history stretching across space. You drift alongside it, noting the elegance of its trajectory and sensing the balance of forces that guide its movement. Even in vast emptiness, there is order, gentle and precise. Some stardust will eventually become part of planets. You imagine it falling through atmospheres, surviving fiery entry, and resting on new surfaces. Some may be buried deep within planetary crusts, awaiting the slow processes that bring them to light. Others may return to the void, continuing the journey across the galaxy. You drift among these possibilities, sensing the patient flow of matter and energy through time and space. You feel the weightlessness of awareness, the freedom to float through cosmic history. Every atom around you has witnessed the formation of worlds, the ignition and death of stars, and the slow shaping of galaxies. You sense that nothing is wasted. Each particle contributes to cycles of matter, energy, and life, quietly participating in the universe's endless meditation. Even the smallest grains carry energy and history. Some contain isotopes formed in unique stellar events, markers of time and transformation. You imagine tracing these markers with your mind, feeling the slow unfolding of events that span billions of years. There is a softness to this knowledge, a meditative awe that encourages quiet reflection and deep, steady breathing. As you drift, you notice patterns emerging among the fragments. Spiral forms, clusters, and gentle arcs reflect the underlying physics of the universe. Gravity and electromagnetic forces choreograph these patterns without haste, a natural artistry unfolding across unimaginable distances. You float among them, sensing the meditative intelligence of the cosmos, the patience and rhythm of creation. Imagine, for a moment, that you could pick up a single fragment. Holding it in your mind, you sense the heat of distant supernova, the cold of interstellar space, the gentle push of gravity. It is both simple and complex, small yet significant, quiet yet powerful. You feel the stillness of the fragment, and in it, the slow pulse of the universe. You realize that stardust is not merely matter, it is memory, energy, and potential. Every particle carries the possibility of planets, water, life, and perhaps even consciousness. You float among this potential, sensing the gentle unfolding of creation as both ongoing and eternal. Time here feels expansive, yet intimate, a slow river that you can drift along with ease. Now, imagine these particles slowly coming together to form the seeds of asteroids and minor planets. You sense their gentle collisions, their delicate aggregation into larger forms. There is no hurry, no abruptness, only the patient rhythm of creation. You float alongside these nascent bodies, marveling at their quiet, deliberate dance. As you drift among the stardust, you sense a deeper connection. The universe is not distant or separate. Its rhythms echo within you, in the pulse of your heart, the breath in your lungs, and the gentle movement of your thoughts. You feel the meditative harmony of existence, a soft connection between your awareness and the slow unfolding of cosmic history. The fragments shimmer softly as you continue your journey. They tell stories without words, whispering the secrets of creation, death, and transformation. You listen with your mind, sensing patience, balance, and harmony. The stardust drifts around you, timeless and gentle, carrying the quiet legacy of stars long gone and those yet to be born.